Today we're going to work on a Bachmann steam locomotive. This is a 040 side tank, commonly referred to as a dockside. These were little switching engines, not designed for long runs, but more to just shuffle stuff around in the switch yards. This is a particularly nice model. It's all metal running gear. Bachmann does pretty good stuff. I get some complaints about my videos just leaping into stuff and not showing what I'm actually doing, so I'm trying to show you some more details. In this case, of course, I started working on the model before I started videoing, so let's look at what the challenges are for this particular model. So the first thing you can see is there is no tender. There's no space to put anything in a tender box, so to speak. It does have these large cavities in the body where the side tanks are. And so I've already started taking this model apart, so we'll just kind of continue that. You can just pop stuff off of here carefully. There's a headlight. And what's inside is about 3 pounds of steel. Scrappy steel, for that matter. Particularly crappy steel. And so I've already cut most of this stuff out. So this is the original rectifier board. And you can see there's a bunch of diodes stacked up on there, little connectors and stuff, and a regulator. The regulator is about the smoke unit. The smoke unit generally just runs off of 5 or 6 volts, or in this case 12 volts. And that leaves us with this giant weight thing. And so we'll, oh geez, gotta weigh that. The last time we weighed something like this, it was over a pound. This is probably 2 or 3 pounds. It's particularly interesting. That is going to have a side effect on this. This is a little motor. It's got little steel wheels. It's only got 4 drivers. Without this weight pressing those in the track, this is going to have a little less tractive ability, so to speak. Okay, so what the heck? Where are we going to put everything here? I've already cut a couple bosses off. Like I said, I'm a little behind here. There were a couple of big bosses right here that held this board in place just directly above the weight. There are also, you can see these 4 big bosses here. Those are the bosses that hold the weight on. I've already removed the pickups from this. They're hidden down here. And I've installed, and I'm going to pick the model up and you probably won't be able to see it, and I can't turn it. Right? Get the light just right. Oh, there's one. Right there is a little tiny magnet. Yeah, that's invisible in the video. Sorry about that. There's a little tiny magnet. I dug a little hole in the wheel and stuck a magnet in here. And then there are 2 reed switches kind of globbed and painted onto the front of the chassis here. This model had no chuff pickups, and now it does. It will chuff. It will chuff very nice. This customer, my friend, my very good friend, is an AirWire user, so we're going to install an AirWire G3. That's this card right here, something like this. We'll get those stuffs out of there. And then there's going to be a sound card. It'll be on the other side. And then the battery will just barely, and I mean just barely, fit in the boiler/smoke box. That's really just leave the boiler. So yeah, it's gonna go together like that, and it is going to be a tight fit. Oh, right, the thing I keep harping on, a little itty-bitty fan is going to set in here as well to keep the insides of this cool. This is particularly small, so we got lots and lots of black surface area here, and no venting to speak of any kind. We're gonna use the underside of this platform here to provide holes for air ingress and egress on the other side, so we get a cross flow of air flowing through this thing so that it doesn't all this hot stuff in there won't overheat. Okay, so that's it for now. We'll get to more in a second. We're back looking at this Bachmann dockside. Continuing on, I've done my 3D printing thing to support both the sound card, a little slip-in bracket here, and a little L bracket for the G3 back here in the back. That's the AirWire part. So we got Phoenix and AirWire here. I'm almost done. We're getting pretty close here. I've been working pretty hard. The fan is installed, the power switch, the charge jacks. What I've got left here for wiring essentially is the actual battery power feeds, and of course one PTC fuse to protect everything in case something goes wrong somewhere. I've been extra careful not to create any shorts here this time after getting burned before. But it's looking pretty good at this point. I'm fairly excited. Okay, that doesn't look real good right now, but that's okay. We're going to do a little bit of dressing before we put the cover back on. Taking a deep breath and turning it on. And so the sound card is working. We're getting DCC commands. The G3 is set to its default, so I should be able to... Okay, so I haven't done any settings. The Phoenix card clearly has one of the triggers that I've used for a chuff set to the whistle, so that's why it's whistling like that. We'll fix that in a few minutes. But it does seem to be going, and it does seem to be making noise. It's not chuffing because the previous owner of this sound card had it just hooked up to the motor, so the motor voltage drove it. And I'm going to use actual real chuff triggers, so I need to configure the card. But yeah, this is very, very good. We are almost done. The big deal will be... Okay, and here we have our first test fit of the body on the chassis. It does seem to work. There's a little bit of resistance, but it's all good. So I put the battery in, but I previously test fit it with the battery. It will fit just as it did. The last little thing I need to do is figure out the headlight LED. And John wanted a cab light. That might not happen. We'll see. All right, so we're sorted together. Oh, what does it look like when you take it apart? You lift and separate, and it looks like that. All very snugly fitting that really tiny cavity. This is a tight fit. This is a tight fit. Okay, and so here it is all together. Let's just quick test, and then we're going to be off to the computer. Lights up. Headlight turns on. Moves forward. Okay, now we're going to fix that sound card. Shut up. Sound is there, so let's try this out. Okay, I put the programming jack down underneath, right about there. Always requires an extra hard push. Okay, so now we're hooked up and ready. We should light up the Phoenix sound system and make it big or whatever. There we go. And show info. How come we don't have the info? Show tools. Show communications window F6. There's what I've got. Okay. And 1, 2, 3. Buckle my shoe. Yes. Okay, so in almost all, advanced controller scenarios, you require a computer to talk to it, and of course everybody does the common denominator. That is Windows. Probably watching this Windows run on this Macintosh. Yay, yay. Okay. But a VM does the job, and now we can do stuff. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at chuff. Because the chuff triggers. Johnson bar. Computer for a little while. The computer. And have undone all the previous configuration stuff. And so let's see what happens here. What we should have is pretty accurate oh, we have to set motor starting voltage. Love it when it's in sync. I don't know what the breathing sound is. This is a mallet sound set. I don't know if it's appropriate for this thing. Oh yeah. Okay. So there's a number of things that have to happen here. Okay, thank you. There are a number of things that have to happen here before I turn this back over to the owner, and they're mostly simple computer-related tasks. There's going to be training the G3 about wheel speed and what startup is and acceleration ramps. Those are pretty easy to set. I generally just pick some defaults out of the manual. Then I'm going to have to set the address of this thing to address 1 versus 3, set a frequency as well, and we'll do all that. No need for you guys to watch that on video. That's no fun. So we'll skip to the part where when the sun comes up tomorrow, we'll put it outside on real track and watch it go. But at this point, it looks pretty close. So, alrighty then. More later.